Hello everybody and welcome to the Dover International Speedway for the MBNA Race Points 300 and the 29th race of our 2005 NR2003 season, our second at Dover. The elimination race in the round of 16 and the chase for the cup is Kyle Busch on pole alongside Rusty Wallace as we get ready to get underway here in Dover to decide a winner and decide a round of 12. We're green and underway in the Monster Mile. Who is going to tame this concrete jungle in Dover, Delaware to find their way to victory lane? We are going to find out today, as that was really advantages the rookie of Kyle Busch, having a phenomenal season up to this point. Still only that one win from Las Vegas in the spring, but has been doing a great job since then of being fast, showing a lot of speed, and being in a good spot right now to advance to the round of 12 in the playoffs as he leads over his teammate Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman third. So Kyle Busch leads the opening lap of racing here in Dover. I just don't mind me having a little bit of a sore throat while commentating. You know, it's a little bit of sickness I'm dealing with. I'm still going to be commentating for you guys in a huge crash into turn 1 and 2. Scott Wimmer was on his side as Harvick, playoff contender, gets turned into the wall, collecting rigs. Mike Wallace, Wimmer got drilled upside down, as well as a 92 of Stanton Barrett, who landed on Wimmer. Sterling Marlin also heavily damaged. Travis Quaffle involved. Bobby Hamilton destroyed. And a huge wreck to start this race on lap 1, involving our first playoff contender to have issues, Kevin Harvick, in the 29, who is still in the race. And now we get back underway on lap 7. Mark Martin will lead us to the green alongside Rusty Wallace after some interesting pit decisions by Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson, giving up their track position to come down pit road. You saw some of the guys out of the race there before him, but Mark Martin, of course, a lot of people expected him to be one of the favorites to contend for the championship this season, but ended up being the first guy out of the playoffs. Has had a bit of a rough stretch of races since then in that number 6 Ford for ROUSH Racing. He's your leader, but now he's under fire from Rusty Wallace on lap 30. Here comes the 2, Rusty Wallace in his final season of full-time competition here in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Trying to at least advance to the round of 12 in his final season, trying to go out with the bang, maybe possibly leave a champion. We'll see, as he's had a very solid year with one victory, but has been very fast and consistent, and he takes lead away from Mark Martin. But now a few laps later, as they've caught the lap car of Mike Bliss, Mark Martin takes the lead. Jeff Burton has also out of this race from that big wreck at the beginning. Complications from that took him out a few laps later, but now Mark Martin makes a nice easy pass on Rusty Wallace and moves right back to the front. And these two putting on a show early in the race as the battle continues for the lead between Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace. Some good, hard, clean racing between these two veterans of the sport, just putting on a show up here at the front. Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace, two of the most respectful drivers in the garage, having a great race so far here in Dover. Rusty Wallace had the lead, and then a caution came out, so we get back underway here on lap 52. Mark Martin on the outside, Rusty Wallace on the inside. Mark Martin easily clears Rusty Wallace into turn 1 for the race lead, and has positioned himself very well to go out and possibly spoil the playoff drivers and win this race here in Dover. We'll see if he can do it. He leads over Rusty Wallace now, but Elliott Sadler, who won the spring race here to get into the chase, running in third. But it's Mark Martin out front here in Dover. Now later in the stage, lap 74. So 2 to go in stage 1. Sorry, now it's the last lap of the stage. Mark Martin gets clear of the Penske duo of Newman and Rusty Wallace and is looking to secure the stage 1 win here as they got held up by J.J. Yaley in the 11. As they come through turn 4 for the final time, this opening stage of racing, Mark Martin will win stage 1 for Jack Roush here in Dover. Newman, Rusty Wallace, second, third. Sadler comes through fourth. Kane rounds out the top 5. Then it is Mayfield, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, and then Kyle Busch gets a 10th and final stage point as Mark Martin gets his 3rd stage win of the year here in Dover. And now continuing on in stage number 2. On lap number 80, it is Rusty Wallace out front leading this race here in Dover as Mark Martin and Ryan Newman do battle for second behind him. Down the back straightaway, Rusty Wallace, of course, just taking over after the stage win went to Mark Martin, who is so strong in that opening stage, showing he's definitely got winning speed in that car today, and is already right back on the bumper of Rusty Wallace. What a restart from Mark Martin, but now Newman got by him a few laps later. Here comes the 12 of Ryan Newman, going to pass his teammate of Rusty Wallace for the lead. Newman already advanced the round of 12 by winning the opener in the Southern 500 and sweeping the season there in Darlington. Now trying to get yet another Dover win to his resume. Newman, incredibly impressive so far for Team Penske in his first 4 seasons of his career. Still looking for that 16th win of the last 4 years. Caution, huge wreck out of turn 4. Vickers, Dale Jr. is involved. Harvick, Yaley, Riggs, and more. As it starts with Sadler putting Kenny Schrader in the wall, who ends up blowing a motor and trying to pit. Hits Kyle Petty, wrecks the 45 right into the path of last week's winner of Vickers, collecting Harvick Jr. and Kenseth, who go for a spin, as well as JJ Yaley and Riggs, and then Kyle Petty slams into Kevin Harvick afterwards, bringing out the caution. So more playoff drivers having problems here in what's been so far an interesting, a wild start and a bigger crash behind these guys out of Ford. I just missed, and then Newman, your leader, almost got wrecked by Dale Jr. down the front stretch. And now we're going to get back underway here on lap 136 after a all of a sudden tumultuous turn in this race early in stage 2. Chaos starting to filter in. Newman with the better restart easily clears Rusty Wallace for the race lead. Is now going to try to hold off Mark Martin as they go down the back straightaway. You see Schrader now out of this race in 37th, leading 36 cars left competing as Newman leads the way. There are 3 wide, 2 rows deep here in Dover. I don't know how long that's going to work. 3 wide aggression being shown by Casey Mears. How about the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who's been from back and forth from the back to the front multiple times today, is doing it once again, having the restart of his life. Now driving all the way up into 5th place here, having a great run, but now Kane and Kurt Busch going a little wide there. 4, nearly 5 wide out of turn 4. Contact, and around goes to 16. Biffle is spinning to the inside. Trouble for the National Guard Ford playoff implications, but what a save by Greg Biffle. I mean, you know, 4, nearly 5 wide. Definitely not going to work here in Dover. Biffle keeps it off the wall. An impressive save by the driver of the 16. And Carl Edwards goes through a slide through the grass, keeping his hopes alive as well. Near disaster for ROUSH Racing, but they keep their cars clean with some impressive driving and stay in the hunt to advance the next round as Newman leads the field to the caution flag. Now he restarts alongside the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who is oh so good here in Dover, and takes the race lead away from the Penske driver of Ryan Newman. So here we are on that 143. Jimmy Johnson now in the race lead, looking to get his 3rd win of the season and lock in an automatic position in the round of 12. He's already in a pretty good spot coming into this race at 40 points above the cut line. Just don't crash. And speaking of crash, we got a big one in turn 3. Dave Blaney, Kenny Wallace, and the 66 of Hermie Sadler all collide, bringing out their caution. And so a big incident. Your leader, Jimmy Johnson, slow in turn 3. What happened to the 48? Jimmy had to slam on the brakes to avoid running into these destroyed race cars, so he did the right thing, even though it cost him all of his hard-earned track position. But he kept his car clean, stays in the race, almost loses right there, which is what matters. So keeping that car clean is what matters. So Jimmy did the smart thing there, keeping his car clean and staying in the game. And now on this restart is Busch and Biffle, the front row. As you see the list of cars out of the race growing. An additional 3 guys out now in Dave Blaney, Kenny Wallace, and Hermie Sadler. As Biffle leads on this restart, clear over Kyle Busch and Rusty Wallace to 16. In a great spot. Of course, Biffle coming into this race 3 points above the cut line. Did not get any stage points in stage 1. Is going to be in a tight points battle the rest of this race to try to advance to the next round, which is shocking for someone like Biffle, who's been so fast all year and has 2 wins. But Kyle Busch has now taken the lead away here on that 160, the 5 to the point. Now here comes his brother, Kurt Busch. The Busch brothers going to do battle once again. This time here in Dover. They've battled so many times at the front of the field this season. And now Kurt Busch uses the pick, the 78 of Kenny Wallace, making, of course, Furniture Row Racing's first start in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Kurt Busch going to take the lead away from Kyle Busch here in Dover. A few laps later, the youngest of the Busch brothers, Kyle, going to return the favor to his brother Kurt on the inside now, trying to use Mike Wallace and JJ Yaley as picks. And now Kyle Busch will take the lead back from his brother Kurt down the backstretch. But look at, here comes the 12 of Ryan Newman, who has an absolute rocket of a race car today and is now right on the bumper of Kyle Busch for the race lead. The 12 out of nowhere, but the caution waves here in Dover. We have a problem into turn 3. It's speaking of Kenny Wallace, as Scott Riggs got dumped by Jimmy Johnson to the outside wall. The 10 crashes. He then slides down the racetrack in turn 3 right into the path of Kenny Wallace and Furniture Row Racing's first start, who destroys both of their cars, and they are both done. Not the way Furniture Row Racing wanted their first start to go, with a torn up race car in 33rd, and Riggs will end up 32nd, leaving 31 in this race as we get back underway on that 162, I believe. It's Ryan Newman out front here over Kyle Busch. Actually, let's say 180. It looks like about a 2-lap shootout for stage 2 here. It's Newman and Kyle Busch doing battle for the stage win. And Newman has the advantage out of turn 4. Last lap of stage 2 here in Dover. Ryan Newman trying to stack as many playoff points as he can going to that next round, the round of 12, to try to keep his hopes alive to go to 3 straight championship fours, which would be quite the feat if Newman could accomplish it. And he has been unbelievable so far since he's come into the Cup Series, showing that once again today as Ryan Newman wins stage 2 in Dover, continuing a hot start to the playoffs. The Busch brothers second and third, Kyle ahead of Kurt, and then Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd the top 5, followed by Casey Mears, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Jeremy Mayfield, and Elliott Sadler earns the very last stage point. So Mark Martin took stage 1. Now Ryan Newman takes stage 2. Who's going to get the race win? We're going to find out as we're green and underway here in Dover with 115 laps to go. Kyle Busch with a great restart, clear for the race lead, ahead of Newman and Kurt Busch down this back straightaway. Kyle Busch, of course, the rookie out of Las Vegas, has had a very impressive year in that Hendrick number 5, but the cautions come out already, and that's Jeff Gordon in the 24 is involved. He got turned by Jamie McMurray into the outside wall. The 42 takes out Jeff Gordon, who's still in this race, but damaged multiple laps down. Does Jeff Gordon's 18-point cushion enough to keep him in the round of 12? We will see as this race progresses. And now it's the Busch brothers once again on the front row on this restart, with Kurt easily clearing Kyle Busch through turn 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Now Kurt Busch takes the lead here. Dover trying to control. There goes a 6 of Mark Martin. Head-on impact to the inside wall. A huge crash at Kenseth is in the 17, and a big one into turn 3. The absolute worst case scenario for Roush Racing. Mark Martin head onto the inside wall. Biffle's involved. Matt Kenseth is destroyed with a huge impact. Vickers is in it and more, and all of a sudden Roush Racing has imploded in the round of 16 elimination race in Dover. Matt Kenseth out of this race, out of the playoffs, because he had to win anyway. Mark Martin out of the race after being so fast and winning stage 1. Tragic for him. Biffle's damaged it. Matt Kenseth being out of the race just seals his fate. He came in minus 30, so he had to have a miracle to make it, and he just did not get that today. So Matt Kenseth out here. Oh, down the back to shovel. Jeff Gordon again. Jamie McMurray trying to finish the job on Jeff Gordon. Wrecks him down the backstretch for the second time in the last 3 yellows. And Gordon continues to get damaged, but somehow remains in this race as the 42 and 24 continue. And a wild final stage of racing here in Dover. Chaos starting to erupt, and things are starting to go crazy here. Now the Busch brothers continue to do battle for the lead here. 97 to go. Kyle Busch takes the lead away from his brother Kurt, but he's got pressure from Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, in second, trying to go to the point. And now Newman has done that. He takes the lead away from Kyle Busch here on lap 210. 91 laps remaining. Here's stage 2 winner Newman out front, but now Kyle Busch makes a move here, coming to 81 to go this time by lap 220. Kyle Busch to the inside, takes the lead away from Ryan Newman. Got a good push from his brother there, Kurt Busch. Could we be seeing another Busch brothers 1-2 finish here today? We will see here in Dover as Kyle Busch goes to the point, trying to hold off his brother Kurt Busch with the lap car on Mike Wallace. 3 wide into turn 3. What a bold move by Kurt Busch, and it pays off as the 97 drives up into the race lead. Kurt Busch, what a move to take the lead. But now Kyle Busch repays the favor here, coming to 76 laps to go as he uses J.J. Gailey as a pick. And Kyle Busch goes back into the race lead here in Dover, ahead of his brother and the 2 Penske Dodges of Newman and Rusty Wallace. And what has been, besides all the carnage, quite the entertaining race so far. Now cautions come out, so we get back underway with 58 to go, and Kurt Busch from the front row, inexplicably, he's going to come down pit road as you are going green, throwing away a golden opportunity at the win and 5 playoff points, which would be huge for him. So I don't know what kind of strategy Kurt Busch is trying to pull, but he's basically just thrown away his race. And now that easily hands the lead over to Rusty Wallace on this restart over Kyle Busch, as just questionable decisions by Kurt Busch's team to pit as we go green is going to cost him a lap here. And probably cost him the wins. Now Kyle Busch easily with a great run out of turn 4, right back by the 2 of Rusty Wallace. What a move. Kyle Busch, arguably one of the best cars out there fighting for the win, takes the lead in Dover with 57 laps remaining. Now here we are just 2 laps later. The 25 of Brian Vickers' car is sitting in the middle of the racetrack on the exit of turn 2, nearly took out the leaders, as for some reason Vickers drove his car head on to the start of the safer barrier down the backstretch and just took himself out of this race. Your California winner is done. Now it doesn't matter to him. Vickers has already locked away his spot in the round of 12, and that's going to end up costing Kyle Busch the lead as Newman beats him back to the line. And then Newman pitted now on this restart to start all the way at the back of the line. Must have sped on pit road. So now we have a restart. 50 laps to go. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Hendrick teammates, mano a mano, battle for the win here, but don't count out the 2 of Rusty Wallace for Team Penske, trying to make it happen on the inside lane out of 2, going into 3, putting pressure on the back bumper of Kyle Busch, moves him up the racetrack just enough, but Kyle able to hold tough on that outside lane, and Kyle Busch retains the lead over Rusty Wallace. And now 30 to go. Here comes the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, the veteran, trying to go back to the championship for the 2nd year in a row. Jimmy Johnson takes the lead away from Kyle Busch with 30 to go in Dover. Johnson and Chad Canals have had an up and down day, driven back from the back to the front more times than I can count, and here they are, right in the crunch time. 16 to go, fighting with Kyle Busch for the lead, but the 5 has taken it back. Kyle Busch to the lead in Dover. Now with just 10 to go, he's trying to lap Greg Biffle, who's running in 12th place and does not want to go a lap down. He's a playoff driver in the 16, holding up Kyle Busch, allowing the 48 of Jimmy Johnson to get a run. What will they do down the backstretch? Jimmy Johnson goes to the inside. Here comes the 48 for the lead. Jimmy Johnson makes the pass on Kyle Busch and is now your leader with just 9 laps remaining in Dover. And now we on to 2 to go. Johnson has driven away now to his 2nd advantage. Busch still stuck behind Greg Biffle as Johnson now comes to take the white flag. Final lap, this time by in Dover for Jimmy Johnson, as he looks to get his 3rd win of the 2005 campaign and cement himself as one of the favorites for this championship. And of course, already guaranteeing his spot in the round of 12 here, as he's going to leave Casey Kane to finish on the lead lap in 9th, right ahead of him through turn 3 and turn 4 of the final time. What a resilient effort by the 48 team, Chad Canals and Jimmy Johnson, who wins it in Dover. Johnson the winner, advancing to the round of 12 with his 10th career win. Kyle Busch 2nd, Rusty Wallace 3rd, Newman and Sather round out the top 5. Then Mayfield, Ricky Rudd, Casey Mears, Casey Kane, the lead lap cars in 9th, and Kurt Busch able to recover a 10th place finish after that mind-boggling strategy call. 1 lap down 10th, but Jimmy Johnson wins his first win at the Dover International Raceway, gets his 10th win of his career, and locks himself in the round of 12. Look out for the 48 to be a contender for this championship as we go through the chase. And now you see the race results on the left side of your screen. Pause if you would like to check the full thing out, and you will see updated playoff grid momentarily. Now your updated playoff grid to see who got eliminated after the round of 16, and Matt Kenseth, as we knew, same thing with Joe Nemechek, they both kind of had to win. They did not do it. They have both been eliminated from the chase, but also stunner Greg Biffle knocked out by just 5 points, misses the cut, as does Carl Edwards, who's eliminated by just 4 points in an absolute disastrous opening round for Roush Racing, losing 3 of their 4 championship contenders. They'll only be left with Kurt Busch as Jeff Gordon and Elliott Sadler survive by the skin of their teeth with just 4 points to Carl Edwards. They advance, as well as Harvick, Rusty Wallace barely make it through, and then Junior, Mayfield, Kurt Busch comfortably made it on points in with Kyle Busch. Now here's your round of 12 playoff grid. Round of 12 opener, next episode in Kansas. Your regular season champion Tony Stewart still atop the leaderboard with a 30-point cushion, so he still has a 1-race advantage. Jimmy Johnson now with this win, plus 21, looking really good. Kurt Busch looking solid as well, plus 16, and Vickers plus 15, and Ryan Newman plus 14. Those 5 I think are definitely the favorites to go make a run at the championship. Kyle Busch, Rusty Wallace, Mayfield also above the cut line, with Harvick, Sadler, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jr. on the outside looking in, going into the round of 12. So we'll see who makes the round of 8 after 3 episodes time. So, of course, before the end of the episode, I want to give a shout out to my channel members. So, thank you very much to Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate your support. Helps me and this channel continue to grow and do great things on our road to 1,000 subscribers. So, those of you that watch my videos and are not subscribed, I strongly recommend that you do please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And it takes only 2 seconds, and it's definitely worth it. And so, until the next episode, I hope you all have a good one.